Hey, fans of high quality entertainment. So, I go on Spotify and, I think of different artists that I've liked through the years and maybe, sometimes lost interest in. And last night I was checking this one certain artist that I'm not really a big fan of. I like his early music, but I'm not a fan of him personally for his, politics and whatever, which I don't want to really get into, but, just my own personal opinion. And so it kind of turns me off of his music. But like I said, I did like his some of his early music up to a point. But even last night, I was checking out a live album by this artist that I bought when it came out back in, I think it was uh, maybe 1978 or so, a double live album. And I was really looking forward to it because, like I said, at that time I was a fan and I just did not care for it. I was disappointed in it. And just like I'd been disappointed in uh, the last studio album that he'd released before this double live album. So I wanted to talk to you about this album and then about this artist and go through some of his albums that I did like and didn't like. But anyway, last night I was listening to this live album again on Spotify for the first time in years, and I was kind of impressed. I'm sad to say. And I don't know why back in 1978 that I did not like it. Some of the songs were kind of stretched out, uh, but that happens with a live album, and like I said, I was just very impressed with it. And anyway, the artist and the album I am talking about, I shall reveal now. It is Ted Nugent, double live Gonzo. Yeah. Last night I played a couple of the songs Wang Dang Sweet Poontang, Cat Scratch Fever, and Motor City Madhouse. Yeah. So I didn't play the full live album, but those three songs, and not just Ted Nugent, but the band he had at the time, they were so good. And of course, Ted Nugent, he is a great guitar player, or at least he was back in the day. And so I have a new. I don't think I'm ever gonna buy this album because, like I said, I'm kind of turned off by him these days. But I just want to say that I might listen to it again on Spotify. I was actually impressed with it, and it's just kind of strange how, like I said back in the day, I played it once or twice, and that was about it. So I'll tell you a little bit of my history with Ted Nugent if you care. Some of you might. So of course, Ted Nugent was originally in the band Amboy Dukes. This is their, I believe, third album, Marriage on the Rocks, Rock Bottom, which I never bought. Yeah, their big hit back in the day was Journey to the Center of Your Mind, with once again some awesome guitar work by Ted Nugent, and just a great song, one of the classics from the 60s. But I never heard this album, Marriage on the Rocks, Rock Bottom. But I remember always seeing this album cover and saying that it looks like a cool band. But back at that time, and it says even there, featuring Ted Nugent, I'd heard of Ted Nugent, and of course the Amboy Dukes, but I never heard their music until in 1971. Yeah, I bought this album. I think it was probably in a cutout bin. Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes. You notice he's kind of at this point he'd taken over the band, starring Ted Nugent. It's only him on the cover, and this was a a live album, Survival of the Fittest. I think it was originally supposed to be one side live and one side studio, but it ended up being all live. So this was my introduction to Ted Nugent, and I I didn't love the album, but I didn't hate it either. I guess I tried to like it, and it was just okay for me. Uh, there were, I think, 5 songs on. If we go ahead here a bit, so some of his guitar playing, this was the back cover. Some of his guitar playing impressed me, but overall, the songs, especially the last one, Prodigal Man, it's over 21 minutes long. But listening, once again, I listened to some of this on Spotify. No, it was on YouTube because this album isn't on Spotify. And it's like, I like this more than I did back in the day when I was younger, much younger. So, yeah. So, early 70s, that was my introduction to Ted Nugent. There's side one of Survival of the Fittest. And side two only had 2 songs. And then he released a couple more albums as Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes, which I would always see in the record stores, but I never bothered even thinking of buying them. I kind of thought the album covers were kind of a bit on the lame side anyway. There's the back cover. Of course, Ted Nugent is a hunter. And then this one, Tooth, Fang, and Claw. Tooth, Fang, and Claw, I think. Another kind of silly, over-the-top album cover. So I never bought that one either. Cool. Yeah, at this time, it's all about Ted Nugent, right? The Amboy Dukes, it's like, they're just like side men at this point. So I'm not sure. I think the very first album of his that I bought, it might have been Free for All. Maybe it was. Yeah, I'll just say that. Yeah, it was Free for All, the first one I bought. I liked the cover. It wasn't quite as cheesy as the other ones. Looks like he's rocking out on the guitar. And I bought it, and overall, I really liked it, especially Dog Eat Dog, and of course the title song Free for All, which I still, love to this day. Great rockin' tune. So that was Free for All. And then, of course, Cat Scratch Fever, which I also bought. And I would say overall, I liked the album. I wasn't, like, oh my God, I'm the biggest Ted Nugent fan, but I loved Cat Scratch Fever, the title song, and Wang Dang Sweet Poontang, and a couple of other songs on it. So I started buying Ted Nugent albums. And then the next one was Weekend Warriors. And I think by this time, it's like every new album that he came out with, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a good one, because you'd hear him in interviews saying this is the best rock album ever, kind of bragging up the album. And then when you end up buying it, it was disappointing. So this album for me was disappointing. Maybe I would like it more now. And then, as you can see, it's all about Ted Nugent, even though he always has a great band with him of other musicians. Nice cheesy photo of him on the back cover. But yeah, then this double live Gonzo album came out, and like I said, I was disappointed in it at the time. But it's no longer, a band. It's just Ted Nugent. Even the gatefold, it's all pictures of Ted Nugent. There's no No pictures of the band, even though he always has, like I said, a great band with him. But yeah, like hearing this again last night, it's like, you know what? This was a pretty good damn live album. And then I think I bought a couple more. I believe I bought State of Shock. And I was really puzzled at the time that, he covered a Beatles song. And the Beatles song he covered was uh, I Want to Tell You. It took me a second to remember it. And at that time in the 70s, it was one of my least favorite Beatles songs. So I was really puzzled that Ted had picked that song. But of course, now, for quite a few years, I appreciate that song a lot more. But anyway, it was another lukewarm, so-so album for me. And that's the back cover, of course. Still no band members in sight. And then I gave up on him. I never bought this one, Screen Dream, which featured this really annoying song called, let's see on the back cover here, featuring Wango Tango. I would hear that on the radio, and it would be so over the top stupid that and kind of annoying that yeah, by this time I'd given up on Ted Nugent. Yeah. That's the inner sleeve. Once again, good old Ted with a gun in his hand. No sign of the band anywhere. And yeah, that's just my little story about how, it's funny how you can listen to something when you're younger and not like it, and then many years later, you go and listen to it again and you realize, hey, that actually was pretty damn good. So props to Ted Nugent, I must say, for that live album, because it is a banger. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.